This product, Principal Cash Fund, most of the holdings are in these government bonds. So can you tell me a little bit more about this product and what is the strategy?
So money market fund is one of the most basic offering from the mutual fund industry, because in Indonesia historically, I would say historically, because 30 years ago everybody was only keeping their money in bank deposit. But after 30 years, even now, most of the people still keep their money in bank deposit, So they have the 30-day deposit and they roll it forever. That is our style of money management, correct? So there is nothing wrong with that. The only thing is now the money market fund provides a very attractive substitution to bank deposit, correct? If you look at a bank deposit, you have a 30-day holding period. In a money market, there is no holding period. You can buy any day, you can sell any day, and you can actually get as much as a bank deposit, if not more than bank deposit. So clearly, it helps you to accelerate your earnings from your short-term cash. So I think it is a must in everybody's portfolio. Typically, we recommend people should keep at least 6 months of their expenses in money market or bank deposit. So it's a very, very ideal parking place. In Indonesia, we are a little bit more lucky because we also have lots of instruments that are less than 1 year in tenor, and they are considered as money market instrument, and they are very liquid as well. So there is a lot of trading that takes place on a daily basis. So we try to invest in those instruments along with bank deposits to provide the best risk adjusted return to our customer. But the priority for this particular product is liquidity. The reason why people buy a money market fund is because they may need it on a short-term basis. They may need the money in a short-term basis. That's why they are keeping it in a money market fund. If they want to keep it for a longer term, there are other products and solutions available. The fact that they are putting in the money market means they are not sure about their liquidity requirement, so they would like to have access to their money. So for us, liquidity is more important while managing this particular product, and that is where we focus on. How do we provide liquidity and how do we generate the best risk adjusted return is our investment philosophy.
I see. Okay. And so for this product, in the last fun fact sheet, with the year-to-date performance, it's still above the benchmark, right, which is about at 3%. So for this specific fund, how is the benchmark calculated and the return in relation to that?
So we use a 3 months average time deposit rate as a benchmark. You understand? So typically this is what somebody will get if they put their money in a bank deposit, correct? So our objective is we need to at least deliver that. If possible, we need to do more than that, you understand? Now, that is our overall objective. I'm very happy to say that we have been managing our product extremely well, and our fund delivers the best risk-adjusted return. So the most important thing is, whereas returns are always very attractive, and in good days, we don't need to worry about it. But under the current volatile market condition, it is very important to know what is the underlying investments. I will be happy to say that majority of our investments are in very liquid instruments, and so the risk-adjusted return of our fund is far more superior than what is available in the market.
I see. Okay, and so for the money market fund, you mentioned that it not only invests in time deposits as individuals would, right, if they put money in the bank, but also in money market instruments that have less than a 1 year tenor. Other than that, is there anything that Principal does in terms of this fund that maybe will be different than how other money market funds are managed? Is there a specific strategy that is used for this specific fund?
So we are a multinational organization. So for us, risk management is, sometimes I always joke, right? I don't feel like a CEO. I feel more like a chief risk officer. I mean, so clearly when we are managing public money, it has a lot of responsibility. So I would say that a money market fund is similar to every other money market fund available in terms of description, asset allocation, etc. But the most important differentiator will come in what is the credibility of the investment manager, what is the risk management practices, what is their asset allocation practices, and most importantly, what is their valuation practices. All that becomes very, very important, and that is where we provide the competitive advantage. So when people buy a product from investment manager like Principal, we would expect them to sleep peacefully. You know, that's the most important. We may not give the highest return in the market, because that is not what we are after, but we wanted to give them the best risk adjusted return so that our customers can sleep peacefully. You know, that is the important objective.
Okay, so it's peace of mind, right?
Exactly.
For the client.
Especially for money market fund, because it is a cash substitute and it needs to be available to customers when they need it, correct? So that is where we need to manage it very carefully and appropriately.
So for this money market fund, what's the SLA? So let's say I've put money there and then I would like to make a withdrawal or a redemption. How many days, how many working days?
So typically nowadays the entire banking system and support systems are all so well done. You will get your money back in T+1.
Okay.
As per the prospectus, as per the Praturan, all the fund managers can take up to T+7 to deliver the redemption. But I think the market practices has evolved where T+2 is very ideal. But nowadays we are looking at delivering it on a T+1 basis. And that is why the liquidity management becomes very, very critical.
I see. And so, yeah, I think for maybe members of our audience who are just starting out and investing, this is something that can be an alternative, because I think a lot of people want that liquidity, but also having that kind of return that's a lot better than just putting it in a rekening tabungan that earns like 0 point something interest. So this is also a good note for people that actually you can have a higher return but also still have your liquidity. Yes. Is there a specific type of, other than that liquidity and short-term horizon kind of thing, is there a specific investor that this is more suited to than another?
So the answer to that question is very, very simple. Every one of us have a bank account. All of us have an ATM card, correct? So if you have a bank account, if you have an ATM card, then you should have a money market fund. So this is basically a universal product, because the whole purpose of this particular product is to park your short-term cash, correct? So that is why for everyone it is very, very appropriate. And also it is very ideal for first-time investors into mutual fund, correct? You are not used to investing in non-banking financial industry. And if you want to experiment, this is the safest place to start with. But eventually, I think this is a product that everybody will have, should have, must have. That is where this is very appropriately said. Because this is in terms of risk and in terms of return, it is very, very low risk, and that is the reason why we are only looking at time deposit plus kind of a return. Stability, emphasis is more on liquidity. So this is needed by everyone. That's what I would say.
Okay. With a money market fund, is there actually a time where it is better to invest than others, or is every time the same, or how does that work?
So in the good old days, the valuation was a bit different in Indonesia. Right now, we are marking to market. You understand now? So there is no need to worry about time, because anyway, you are investing only in short-term instrument. The price movement is not that significant. So you are not looking at significant market price volatility where you want to take a position on that. That is not relevant in this particular product. So the simple answer would be, this is like a cash account. This is like a ATM debit account. So as long as you have some excess money lying around somewhere, you park it here so that you get a little bit better return. You understand now? As you mentioned, if you keep money in a savings account, you are literally getting nothing, correct? I mean, if you do all the calculation, opening balance, ending balance, minimum balance, average balance, and then whatever you get, it is nothing, right? So here you are getting all, actually more than even what you're getting in a time deposit rate, correct? So from that particular perspective, if they have decided, okay, I'm going to invest in this stock market, I'm going to invest in the bond market, I'm going to lock it up for a long-term instrument, then it is fine. That's a different. This one is like you have excess money and you need a place to park it, you need to go into this particular fund.
Jadi begitu ya Moduers, semoga konten ini bermanfaat buat kalian semua. Jangan lupa buat like, comment, and subscribe. And untuk ketemu kita di konten-konten selanjutnya ya. See you next time Moduers!